There's no reason to be blue in the suburbs, Jake.
You've got nothing blue in Iowa, Mikey. Do you have blue rivers running through the beautiful green forest or a river running through beautiful desert scenery with palm trees?
No, but we've got affordable living is what we have. Low
We do
crime
too.
rate.
We do too, as long as you have 7 incomes.
Yep. How's that panning out for your blue ass snow cone?
I'm on 4 incomes.
There you go. You might have Skid Row, but at least Jake's got a surplus of sebum.
But if you come to Des Moines, you can be in a nice gated community in the suburbs, outside of the city where there's no crackheads or bums.
I accept. So on that topic, Jake, what's the craziest animal you've ever rode?
Okay. Are we talking about tour or like real life, like farm animals?
Let her rip.
The kids are home. I cannot let it rip right now.
This is a daytime let her rip sesh.
Just to be honest, I mean, where did the fuck did that come from?
I don't know, man. They just come to me.
I don't get to ride animals often, but I'd have to say it'd be a horse. There's nothing else Let me think about this. Yeah, dude, I don't get on many things. I don't trust animals. They have a mind of their own.
California sounds terrible. Camel.
Well, I mean, I'm down the street from Norco, and the way of transportation is the old Saddleback.
Is that a fat chick?
Saddleback, not bags.
Oh, okay.
No, yeah, dude. There's a few horse towns here in the IE. We got Woodcrest and we got Norco. Not like it used to be, but you can still roll up to a bar in Norco, and there's the horse stalls. You'll just see random cowboys just pulled up to the bar, fucking their old horse rack, hop on off. You can't get a DUI on a horse, bud.
The fuck you can't.
You can get drunk in public. You can't get a DUI though, because the horse has a mind of its own. Therefore, you are not operating the horse.
So the horse is your DD in this case.
It is, but if you're about to fall off the horse swaying, you can get a definitely drunk in public.
I'm trying to get my breathalyzer on a horse.
You know, yeah. It's a different world we're living in, man.
Yeah.
I'm crazy. I'm preparing for the Mad Max situation. I think Mad Max is not too far from us.
I'm okay with it. I had a conversation with a gentleman about I had responded to a comment about how tattooing is a lot like DJing, and I used the reference of Mad Max. It's like, you want to know why there's only one guitar player? Because
I didn't watch that. Yeah, I didn't watch that one of that comment.
Because DJs ruined the world and only one real musician survived.
But what would the world be like without DJs? A lot less
better.
fun.
It'd be a better place.
Without DJs? Who's going to do the music? Who's going to run the music?
Mariachi bands. Borders are wide open, man. We got mariachi bands as far as the eye can see. Are we going to be able to air this podcast?
No, we've already beat the hell out of Instagram's code of conduct on this one.
We've gone too far.
As long as we don't talk about little people now. But no, DJ, I'm a DJ fan. I would love to have been a DJ. Not a wedding DJ. Maybe like an after hours DJ. Just a hard.
Yeah.
You know? Where you roll up to like the non-looking club at 3 a.m. in LA that doesn't look anything like a club, and the doors open. It's just like I've been to a lot of those.
So have I. The only way I would be a DJ is if I could do the whole thing a cappella.
Explain that.
I would just grab a microphone and yell, "Wow, wow, wow, wow!" Like a lot.
This might be our worst episode yet,
or best.
At this point, maybe the best.
Yeah.
This is DJ Jake on the DJ Turns Out.
Wow, 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 wow. See, we got this.
You know, it's becoming popular. You know what I always enjoyed was the karaoke, like the full band karaoke's. And now they do like the emo night karaoke. They do punk rock karaoke. Yep. And it's crazy, man. When we were on tour, it was like one of the first times we went through New York City. And we went to this bar after hours, and it was the coolest. You could get, what was it? It was a shot of Jack and a Pabst Blue Ribbon for like $3. It was a random Tuesday night, but it was a punk rock karaoke, and the place was wall to wall. And you literally just go up and you tell them what punk rock's on, and the full band just plays that. And I was like, this is incredible. I forget what song. I actually got up there and did a couple. But it was one of the coolest concepts, man. And it obviously took off. This was probably 2004, 2005. But I thought it was just the raddest thing in the world. Now you see them all over. But now that the emo karaoke is becoming really popular.
All right, what's going on, guys? I wanted to cut in on this video really quick to extend the offer for you to come in and work with the Force of Focus in a much more community-based level. Now, all of the information that I provide here is extremely valuable and important for you to know about the industry that you're in, but being able to work in a room full of artists who are all not only applying the systems, but keeping each other accountable changes the entire trajectory of your success and of your scalability. So if this is something you're interested in, we're going to attach the link down below in the description. Let us know if you have any questions. Obviously, like, comment, subscribe, but make sure that you are willing to roll the dice. You have to be able to get up and get out. You have to be able to play the game, not just ride the bench. And this is exactly where you can do that. It's not your run-of-the-mill program. This is community approach. This is how we work together and we navigate the sea of uncertainty in this creative career path. I cannot wait to see you in there with it. They do Misfits karaoke every year for Halloween at one of the fucking dive bars here, and they nail it. Like, people come from all over the area, so to speak, like 3-4 hours away, because it's like a really well-known band that comes and just does Misfits karaoke.
Yeah.
It's pretty tight.
A cool thing I keep seeing, we've spoke about Jake Shipwreck. He's here in Corona. He's got, I think he's on his 4th shop. A really cool story. We'll have to have him on the cast, but he started up his emo karaoke nights in the barbershop. So he closes down the shop. Everybody brings a snack, or it looks like everybody brings, something, either probably booze or some kind of food.
Yeah.
They just rage in the barbershop till it's like 10 to 2. I'm like, that's incredible.
Yeah.
But the full DJ, full lighting system, he goes all out, dude. He's a party boy, dude. He's having fun.
I like the approach, though. The thing is, like, even though I don't really dabble in the spirits or the Great White, I still miss a really fucking good time. I'm cool with being reckless and remembering it.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, that's like, dude, I told Angela, dude, like, I want to throw a huge house party, but like being like half-ass sober would be like, don't touch that. Please get out of my daughter's room. Like, don't do that. Like, like the scared boy who has the big party. Like, I used to have the biggest parties at my parents' house, and I'd be that dude, like, don't touch it. Oh, and I'm like picking up the vase as it's falling from the fireplace. Yeah. Because I couldn't enjoy myself. There was a couple parties. I literally called the cops on myself. Probably like 2 occasions. And we had full. Oh, dude, I had to. It got to the point where it was like, and we're talking high school days. Like, there was multiple high schools there. I'm not talking just my high school, because I went to 2 of them. So there's probably 3 to 4 different high schools of every football team, every band, every DJ, everything you could think of. And it was fun. It was straight out of a movie. It looked like something from American Pie. And the minute people started, my parents had a dirt backyard, and we had the full view of like Riverside. But the minute there was so much parking on the street that people were just driving into my parents' backyard, I was like, we're fucked. Like, it was lot full. And I just remember I like grabbed the landline, because I didn't have a cell phone then. I grabbed the landline. No, woman, there's a party at 116, blah, blah, like, like, all right, we'll send dispatch out. And it's so fucking funny because it was my neighbor who lived literally 2 doors down from my parents. So he knew me. Yeah. He took all the calls. So I had to speak to him multiple occasions, dude, where he came up and he's like, Jake, call it quits. And this time I was like, you got to get these guys the fuck up out of here. And they sent the choppers, dude. There's just helicopters just shining. Get out of the house. People are just running. They probably stolen all my parents' shit. And I just remember aftermath, I'm like, what the fuck just happened, dude? Yeah, it was a good time.
Yeah. I was lucky enough to have friends who had houses in worse places with even lower standards. So even though like doing it at my parents' place was periodic, the other place was more fun because it was punk rock hardcore house destruction party at all times. There's a party house that my old homie's parents would sit downstairs in their single recliners, not even notice or pretend they didn't notice people walking in and out with kegs and shit. They wouldn't move from their recliners. Dad wouldn't put his newspaper down. It was the weirdest shit in the world. Smallest attic bedroom with just wall to wall fucking people were partying on the roof and shit.
Yeah. Well, that's what's fucking funny is the parties I threw without my parents were like they didn't even like they weren't on the same spectrum, dude. Like,
Yeah.
When my folks were there, rage. For some reason, like I remember my bass player Clint. They had a full Ramones cover band, and I threw a Halloween party at my mom's. This was probably it. We were already in Mantis, and probably like 22, 23. And we decked out. We had like a long garage. It was a like 3-car garage, but it was like length, not wide. And Clint was like, "Dude, ask your mom if like the Pinheads could play here." I was like, "All right." My mom's like, "Yeah." Full mosh pit in the garage. Clint, they dressed up like Joey Ramone, the whole kit and caboodle.
Yeah.
But dude, there was again probably like 100 fucking people there. My parents are just sitting there chilling. And mind you, my dad doesn't drink, so it's just like it was just good times.
You know what's crazy to really reflect on though is like going from we're sitting here as middle-aged adults reflecting on the high school days.
Yeah.
And most people do that, but then don't have stories to tell after. Where you and I took that and we just went all in. We put it all on black and just turned that into literal like careers.
Yeah.
And dude, all right, so weirdly enough, today out of nowhere, I was kind of going through like some gratitude shit, kind of reflecting on my life as like a whole. And I sent one of my childhood friends who I really don't talk to anymore a gratitude message about just, a lot of the shit he and I dreamed up actually became my life. Even though I'm sober and like I followed my faith and everything, I still, in comparison, I made everything that we had wanted to do with making party life a profession and then a profession into success and then success into something sustainable.
Yeah.
I was able to do all of it. And I kind of like, part of me is like, I can imagine how that message was read, them knowing who I was and me just being like completely like condescending in a sense. Like, I really want to appreciate you for showing me what kind of life I could lead after you had sacrificed the good one.
Yeah.
And it's like obviously not my intent, but still, it's like we had like we couldn't let go of the good days just long enough to survive them, to be able to hold on to setting standards of what it was we knew we were able to accomplish moving forward. Where some people sacrificed just early enough to like go safe, where we pushed it to such a degree that we made it out alive. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? And it's so cool to like have friends who are literally just still doing the shit. We don't necessarily burn it to the ground, but
and that's why I keep my circle so close to me, dude. And the ones that are really kind of getting after it, especially the ones that like, and I don't separate myself from sober or non-sober or anything because I've dabbled and it's like, but one individual that just keeps the party going, but he's still in his 20s, so I don't know if it counts. But my boy Clay, his whole brand is professional party boy.
Yeah.
Like that's his brand. But he's been on this sober. I think he's 6 months sober now. But he lives the Harley life, the barber life, the clothing life, you know what I mean? And I see him and he's always out and about, And again, I don't know if this counts because he's still in his 20s and he's young and he doesn't have a family, but he's got the mentality of one of us. Like he's got old man mentality. He's a very mature kid. But like I just watch him living this life. Like he's over at Quaid Harley one night dressed up as Santa, just dancing with the DJ, and then the next day he's out on the racetrack, and then the next day he's in his print shop like printing clothes. I'm like, that's it, dude. That's such a I wasn't doing that shit at his age. Mind you, I was a very successful musician, but I look back and I'm like, man, what I could have been doing. So I tell him all the time, I'm like, bro, what you're doing is extraordinary, man. It's right on key to set you up for the perfect like 30s and 40s, dude.
Yeah. I think what's awesome about that is, going back to the conversation we had yesterday about doing like little mini tours, like we still have the ability and the knowledge of being able to ride that line when we so choose, but not carry it in to destroy our family lives or our businesses. Yeah. And I think that's right on that cusp that I'm at, dude. I'm so ready to have some fucking fun, get a little weird, pull all the aggression out of things, and not be so angry, I guess, because I'm still an angry dude.
Sure.
But go out and have some fucking fun with my
Well,
friends and just get weird with it.
I had this thought the other day on my walk, dude. I'm watching these guys that I follow, that I respect, that I'm friends with through social media, and I'm watching them post. I think we had this talk on yesterday's podcast, but I'm watching them post 3, 5, 6, 7 times a day. They've got a huge following. They've got a couple really cool businesses, and I'm like, we talk so much about leaving that 9 to 5 and leaving that cubicle and not being married to your job and being able to do time freedom. And I was like, I think I'm gonna kind of go off topic here. There's two things. You got those people that fear success.
Mm-hmm.
I have like a fear of like going viral and being an influencer, being a big name, because I know what it takes, because I've gotten other people there. I've been inside of these gurus and these mentors DMs, and I know what a shit fest it is inside of those things. Then you got to hire your you got to get your automations, and you've got to get setters in there, and then you start losing control of who you are as a person, and you're so attached to your phone that you're not doing the things you've been preaching to get you to where you are.
Yeah.
And it's crazy that you and I think about, like, we're busy as shit. We're very productive. I've got multiple things going on. You've got multiple things going on, but not to where I'm married. I don't have hundreds of DMs a day. I don't want that life,
Yeah.
And I think I have that fear of, like, I guess it's not a fear if you don't want it, but I know the tricks and tips it takes to go viral. I've created a lot of huge influencers in the space. I've worked with a lot of really big fucking mentors. But like, I feel like once you get to that point, you're stuck in this fucking bubble, in this repeated Groundhog Day that you can't get out of, because it becomes so fucking addicting. You don't know how to escape it.
I think there's a personality trait, because I know some people who do it who do it naturally. Like, you know who Matt Vincent is?
No.
Look him up. Amazing dude. Used to be a power lifter. Now the dude's just really into like mindset, belief, like masculinity, but not from like an aggressive level. Him and his wife just travel the world, do amazing things, and they are that. But they get to love life, live life, and just truly do the damn thing. Then you look at like Rob and Keaton and those guys. Yeah. But then there's also people that we know who they became personas. They lost themselves the more out of control it got. And then they were in this inevitable addiction chase of it. And it's almost like the white knuckle drunk. You know what I mean? You're holding on for dear life, and you're just addicted to it to the point where you have no idea who you are. Yeah. Unless it's performing. Then you're like, that was me. That's the me I am.
Well, and then there's a point where a lot of these guys have to do it themselves until they make enough money to hire the team, to build the content, to do the setting, to make the calls, to get on the calls, to sell the calls. And it's this lifelong, it's just this like rotating fucking hamster wheel. You have like, there's that middle ground where it's just like, I'm just kind of posting, kind of like I am. I just post when I want, do what I want. And then you've got the people that have to post 3, 5, 7 times a day. And then they're on their own DMs. Then they're on their own sales calls. Then they're on their own fucking client, fulfillment. And then you have to get to that breaking point to where you can have somebody building your content. You can have somebody in your DMs. You can have somebody running the sales calls. Then you kind of lose focus on the business.
Yeah.
You kind of are not in the business. You're letting somebody else run the business. And then sometimes it works out. Sometimes it doesn't. And I've seen both.
I think here's where it gets really messy, because I started falling into this. Sometimes it's not as big as we want to fucking make it. Sometimes, unless we're relying on the acquisition end of things, then it can remain fun. It's when you hyper focus on the acquisition. If you're doing it all for acquisition, it gets fucking exhausting. When you're doing it all for fulfillment, not only for the people you work with, but yourself. If all of this is for fulfillment, all of this is for documentation, people can take or leave if they choose to work with you or surround them, like put themselves in your position or in your community or whatever. And I think that's really like where a lot of people we have worked with miss the mark on why there's all these pivots and all these brand changes and all these personality traits and all these different like adjustments, new seasons. Some people just do it as a natural byproduct of documentation. They don't need to do the perfect caption, the perfect hook, and the perfect all that. They don't have to have the closers and the setters and the sales calls. It's just, this is me, this is my life, getting weird, getting wild, loving the fuck out of it. You're more than welcome to join the party if you want to. We're going to be off doing this.
Yeah.
That's the life that I want to lead because, dude, I love this life, but that doesn't mean I'm comfortable in it.
Sure.
You know what I mean? There's always so much more. The dream you and I talk about every day. How are we going to get there?
Yep. Full speed ahead.
Full speed ahead.
Full speed ahead, and no looking back. And the thing is, you're a man. You're known to change
Correct.
Situations or systems or processes, or if it's not working, let's cut it. I'm more of the like, let's write it out and make adjustments as we go instead of just going. So we make a good pair, but I think this next journey for us in 2026 is the right one because not only have I been talking about it for the last 8 months, I've done it before and I know the feeling of it and I know how to get there and I know how to create it. But I think at this point in my career and my knowledge, I can do it a lot better, obviously, from the things I've learned, the experiences, and we talked about yesterday, the failures. But why the fuck not?
Yeah.
And that's our message. We'll repeat it till we're blue in the face. Somebody's got an idea, and it's just like the post I did today. Just because you have an idea doesn't make it a business. You have to execute that business. And I think what we're doing is execution at its finest in all aspects, in everything we're doing. From the systems to, the collaborations to the podcasts to the content. It may be a little bit slower because we're actually honest people and we don't lie in our content or we don't clickbait. We don't have pocket change offers that just get people in to collect their emails so then bug the shit out of them through text and email. So they're just going to unsubscribe anyways.
Yeah.
We do it because we actually have a purpose and a reason behind it and we can actually fucking do it.
Yeah. But I think, it's so weird and refreshing to be able to work with someone or just to be able to work with either an individual or a team who all understand their zones of genius, because I've done it where I've worked in teams where I had to do everything. I've done it where I've worked on teams where I felt like doing all of it. I've worked with people who didn't carry their weight, but when two people actually complement the process and we get all this shit out of the way and we just do what we're natural at, it does become infectious. I think the one thing about social media that still lives is the fact that there are people out there who are drawn to what they're attracted to, that they can see themselves in the midst of, which is why I hate the scripted content and the hook, the story, the call to action. Is you can never see yourself in that. You're malleable enough to believe it because you're just so lost. And those aren't necessarily the people that you can serve. Those are just the people you can collect money from immediately because you're hitting that pain point right. I don't want to hit your pain points. I want to show you what's fucking possible.
Sure. Yeah. And I think the beauty in what you just said is working with people of genius or people that know what they're doing. Is because the best way to say this for me is over the last 4 years now, I've dabbled in just little pieces. I never did them all, although I'm used to doing all of them. I perfected my skill set over these last 4 years, and I did it quietly, where we always talk about just figure it the fuck out.
Yeah.
If I didn't know something, I would just lock myself in my office and I would learn it. I would perfect it, and then I would execute it. And I did that rep after rep after rep until now. Here we are. When I was forced into a place where it was time to let all the ammo out.
Yeah.
To really be like, this is what I've been working on, and I had to walk away from something that was that I felt so close to and that I helped build in 3 years. But I only had a couple different tasks. Although I would get thrown different things, I executed each of those properly. So now when it's my turn, I can actually speak to the client and be like, yes, or the leader, or collabing with you to go, hey, do you know how to do this? Yes. Hey, can you do this? Yes. Hey, can we build this? Yes. Hey, we need some back-end systems on Monday? Yes. Hey, I need a website? Yes. And there's no I think I can. It's like, yeah, I can fucking do that. You know what I mean?
And you'll execute at a top level because it's your character trait. That was one thing that I was going to say is we unintentionally reference a lot of what was to paint the picture of what is and will be. But I think the one thing that we discuss a lot on the back end, off camera and all that, when we're just shooting the shit, is understanding a person's character. You know what I mean? And the one thing that I think is lost because of social media is quality of character, because some people will present themselves as something they're just obviously not. Some people will present themselves in a better light. Some people will even present themselves in a worse light, and it's because it performs. But either way, you wind up losing parts of self, and that hurts you. But imagine the damage it does to the people who at one point in time looked up to you and really respected the hell out of you because of like sincerity in character. And the one thing that I try to do, and you and I have had this conversation, is, dude, taking off the badge is such a fucking, like, sometimes it's a difficult thing to do, you know, like taking someone out of their natural element and really just seeing them for who they are, whether that's the pains, the struggles, or the goals, or just who they are genuinely.
Yeah.
And I've really been trying to reflect on that, man, because I am a judge a book by its cover kind of guy, you know, and it's hard to not be now. But in the same degree, most of the time, what you see on someone is not who someone is, the context of the character. You know, some people can have the prettiest cover in the world and have the most shit content, like with page by page, humanly possible, or vice versa. Yeah. It's when you have all of that dialed because you tell an impeccable story, because you've lived something profound, whatever the case may be.
Well, I think it comes natural when you see somebody's habits. And we always talk about habits and the habits it takes to do this. And when you work with people or you see people or what they've done and you watch their habits over time, usually if they got shitty habits or bad habits, it ends up being like that's the kind of person or their work ethic that comes out. And it's not because that's the cover of the book you saw. It was because you just see that individual's never getting better because he's always doing the same fucking things and never going anywhere, you know. And it starts with self-care and self-love. And I told myself for many years, dude, like I couldn't be the best online coach until I got my shit together. And that's initially why I stopped drinking, you know, 2.5 years ago. And I really had to look at myself in the mirror and be like, if I'm telling people to be the best they can and do the best, but I'm sitting there getting fucked up on the weekends and in the garage till 4 pounding, even though I told myself it was only, you know, once every couple weeks, it still wasn't good for me. And I'm sitting there telling somebody to kick the Krispy Kreme out of their fucking hand. So when I finally looked in the mirror, I'm like, are you the best version of yourself? Are you the most confident? Are you showing up for your family? Are you showing up spiritually, mentally, physically? All the things that made you a good leader. I finally was able to say, yes, I am.
Yeah.
Now I'm ready to lead. Yeah.
And I think I realized recently I'm not performing at a peak level. You know, I have before. I realized I'm not currently.
Yeah.
And that's one of the coolest realities to have, because imagine people who don't realize that. You know what I mean? And that was something that I have to reflect on. And I have to reassess that about every
let me stop you there. You and I's peak level is probably similar, but like our peak levels to somebody's probably 75%.
Yeah.
Or not, I've said that wrong, but you understood what I was saying.
Yeah.
Like our peak level is up here as to where our peak level is well above somebody's 100%. You know, that's what it should have been.
Well, and that's kind of what I was getting to with, like, I have to reassess that every quarter, every 6 months or so. Like, am I at peak performance for right now? If no, then adjust. If yes, then adjust.
Yeah.
You know, because I don't know, man, like, the one thing I've learned going from reflecting on the high school days to being able to go on tour as a tattoo artist, go on tour as a musician, get yourself in real crazy situations. Everything has always been almost an addiction of pushing the next envelope until inevitably you kind of have to rebuild your entire foundation. But the cool part is, and I put that post out earlier about you're not even a tattoo artist if you've never gotten in a knife fight at 3 a.m. behind your tattoo studio or whatever. I've done that, you know, and the reason I say that is because for me now it's funny, but no matter what I do moving forward, I could always laugh at the fact that once upon a time I was getting in knife fights behind tattoo studios and shit. I remember fist fighting over butterfly walk-ins, you know what I mean? So there's nothing forward that's going to concern me.
Yeah.
You know, and that's what peak performance is. That was not peak performance, mind you. I'm not saying that knife fighting is peak performance unless you win, unless you're like a jet and you're a jet all the way from your first cigarette to your last dying day. Aside from that, there's always more you can do.
And those are the best stories. It's like I could go back. Are you really a musician if you haven't almost gotten in a fist fight alongside Hatebreed outside of some shithole Alabama fucking venue because they didn't want to pay us? Like, that's some good shit.
I would say no, you're not.
Entire band of Hatebreed. We're on their 10th anniversary tour. And we're literally like, we get done playing. My tour manager goes up. Jamie Jocelyn, Hatebreed's fucking tour manager goes up. Who else was on? Like Gizmachi, Most Precious Blood.
I forgot about that band.
Most Precious. Ooh, they were
Yeah.
good. It was a great stacked fucking tour. It was a full U.S. tour. And I remember Funny Man, he was our tour manager, and he comes out, he's like, man, dude, Hatebreed's about to get down, boys, get over there. And we're like, what? Let's go. As if Hatebreed needed fucking four
Yeah.
23-year-olds fucking help, fucking hammered as shit at 2:30 in the morning. But like all the bands just united, and you got fucking 27 angry metalhead hardcore dudes. Got this dude pinned in the corner. Half the crowd is out there screaming at the guy, and he's like, I don't have your money. Like, Jamie Joss is ready to rip this dude's head off. And I'm sitting there like, oh my God, dude. Like, bunch of 22-year-olds in the middle of nowhere, like, touring with Hatebreed. And we're like, yeah, this is the shit. I remember being, like, Jamie Joss is, I think, a couple years older than me, but I remember watching Hatebreed, Earth Crisis, Integrity. I'm going way off topic. At the Showcase Theater. And one of the gnarliest brawls I've ever seen was just Hatebreed was known. They were just the dudes that just fuck you up.
Yeah.
And I remember I was probably 15 years old, maybe 16, at Showcase Theater, man, in this victory night. And it was one of the largest brawls because it was like straight edge versus non-straight edge. Like Earth Crisis had a cult following of just vegan, hardcore, straight edge. And one of the most intense fights I've ever seen from any band. So it was one of those things where now I'm sitting there in Alabama on tour with Hatebreed, about to get one of the biggest brawls. Like, I'm like, this is like every kid's dream come true. I'm like, let's fuck some shit up.
Yeah. Peak fucking performance.
Yeah. Are you really a musician? Yeah, a lot of good stories, man. A lot of good stories. Yeah, good shit.
But I mean, dude, even taking that energy and those memories and that reflection into what it is that we want to do, and that goes back to my yearning desire to do even like little part-time tours, just knowing we're not going to get ourselves in those situations. But I don't know, man. Like, we might. I'm not peak performance.
Definitely peak performance. My back out is what I'll do.
But man, I don't know. Like, people don't have that kind of fun that as much anymore.
Yeah.
But I think that, like, knowing we did those things gives us an upper hand to be able to communicate and walk into rooms and know that we can shoot the shit with anybody. We can have fun fucking anywhere, even if there's a DJ.
Yeah. And we're out.
And that'll do it.